Hello and welcome to SkySwitch University. In this unit, we want to cover SkySwitch billing information and practices, which is really our billing to you as a reseller. We want to help you understand, how we're billing you. And so here we are on the Dash Manager, and on the dashboard page, main page. And I want to point out a widget here. This is the seat count widget. Now, this gives you a heads-up glimpse, a heads-up view of how we're billing you. So as you add domains, as you add customers to the system, which are equivalent to, a domain is equivalent to a customer, you're going to start adding users and different, features, different services to that domain. And so when you add a basic user, and that could be a basic user scope or an office manager scope, they're going to count in this column, the PBX user column. And we charge you guys the same for a basic user scope versus a office manager scope. We charge you the same for each of those types of scopes as far as user seats. Now when it comes to call center agent or call center functionality, the call center agent and supervisor also are charged the same, and it's higher priced than the normal PBX user seat, and it's a different scope, and they have a different portal that they access, and it's different information, and it's call center capability, call center features, call center reporting, and so you're getting more information, and that's why those seats are charged at a higher rate to you. We also account for call recording. When you add call recording to a user or to multiple users, you're going to see this count here. So we have this domain here has 5 call recording set on users, and users with 5 call recording. Then you have SIP trunks, and this is plural, but really what we're referring to is SIP trunk channels. And so in your MSA, you're going to see that we charge you for SIP trunk channels. And so we're calculating how many SIP trunk channels you have in a specific domain. Now, referring to the MSA, really that's where you're going to find, what we're charging you for a PBX user seat, call center agent supervisor, call recording, SIP trunk channels. And then when it comes to meeting rooms, this is the web conferencing capability of the system. It's the meeting manager, as we call it. And so when you set up a room for a domain, like this domain has 1 room set up for it, then we charge you for that web conferencing room. Now in that, there's some additional charges on that don't show up here. Like if you add video as an add-on to this room, there's an additional charge, and you'll see that in your MSA, but we don't show you that addition here. We only show you the meeting room here. Now, voicemail transcription is a feature that can be added to users, and again, we're showing you how many users have been set with voicemail transcription. And then the last column is telephone numbers. So when you add telephone numbers to the system, whether you're purchasing them from SkySwitch or you're porting them over, and those can be DIDs or toll-free numbers, whether you're purchasing them from us or you're porting them in, they're going to calculate here in the telephone numbers column. Okay, so the seat count is a good way of getting a good picture of how we're billing you on a monthly basis. Now, this is how you will be billed on a monthly basis, and you can check, and compare what you see on your bill on a monthly basis, and we calculate those totals here at the top, so you have those totals, and again you can compare those on your bill. Now, this seat count is one way we bill you, but we also bill you through the managed telco, and we covered that in a previous session. And the managed telco is prepaid telco services. It's your origination and termination, your carrier services, and we bill those on a prepaid fashion. And we covered that, like I said, in a previous session. Now, I want to point out the document that will help you understand further how we're billing you. And so if you, under your profile name, if you'll click on Help, it'll take you to the SkySwitch knowledge base. Now what we're looking for is SkySwitch billing. I want to point out this account billing information and practices first. So we refer to our SkySwitch accounting staff, as SkySwitch billing or SkySwitch Bill Center. You'll see this email, billcenter@skyswitch.com, so you can send a question there if you have a question of our accounting department. You can also call, and here's the main number and the extension. Our normal hours for our accounting department are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can also open just a ticket through the ticket system if you have a billing question. You can reach us that way as well. Now it mentions here the SkySwitch Bill Center is your centralized interface for SkySwitch billing statements and managing credit card payments. So back to the Dash Manager, under your profile name, if you click on Bill Center, that's how you're going to reach the portal. And this is what it looks like, the portal, and you'll be able to view bills, you'll be able to make payments. So this is a demo account, doesn't have any bills in it, but you would see your bills here. You could print those bills, you could see all your past bills, you could check those out here, and then you could also make payments through the Bill Center. And the Bill Center, skyswitch.billcenter.net, is our billing portal to you as a reseller. So that's what's mentioned here. Now another thing I want to point out under SkySwitch billing, another document here that's important, is the WebCentrix billing calculations. So it's going to give you a definition of the different types of seats, etc., the services that we bill for, like a user seat is any end user identified with one or more devices provision. I'll talk about that more in just a moment. Your call center functionality, and that's an agent or a supervisor. SIP trunk is on a call path or a SIP trunk channel basis that we bill you. Call recording, any end user that's identified or been set or provisioned with call recording, that's what we're going to bill on. Voicemail transcription if it's set on a user, and we do also have the PBX smartphone. This PBX phone is being transitioned out as we move our Reach UC client in, and there will be more information on how we're going to bill for Reach UC in the future. Now I want to point out, and we caution it here, you need to understand what constitutes a billable user seat. And so if we go back to the Dash Manager and I go into Manage PBX, as you add domains or customers, and then you add as you add users to those domains or to those customers. So if I click on users inside the domain and I click add user, I want to point out this very important point. When you're adding a user to the system, you're going to see this question mark here, or this question, add phone extension, and it's defaulted checked. Because in most cases, when you add a user, an actual user, yes, you're going to be adding a phone extension to that user. Your intention is that, yes, you want to add a phone to that user. However, there are instances that you will need to uncheck this. And for example, if you were to add this user and all you wanted was voicemail on this user, so this user would be more like a virtual user. And they could have portal access, they could access their voicemail, you could call forward their calls to their mobile phone. Yes, this you would uncheck the add phone extension, and this would be a virtual user that we would not charge you for. Another instance would be if you're creating a ring group or a routing user. You're wanting to use the functionality of a user to add functionality, ring group, simple ring group, or you want to route calls based on time frames, etc. And we cover this in our our SkySwitch setting up your first customer course. And so in those cases, you're going to want to make sure that you uncheck the add phone extension, because in those cases, like when you're adding a simple ring group, you don't want to be charged for that user. And you want to uncheck this add phone extension. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. If I look at this user and I go to the phones tab on the user, you see how this user has this extension. And when you add your first phone or your main phone or your desk phone to a user, you're going to want to just edit this extension, and you'll learn this in setting up your first customer. The add phone is really add any additional phones to this user. So in this case, because this extension is here, this is going to be a billable user. Even if you don't add a device, this is going to be a billable user. When you uncheck, when you leave that checked, when you add a user and you leave this checked, it builds that extension, and that's what causes the user to be billable, regardless of whether you add that phone or not. Okay, so you need to understand that, and it's explained here in this doc, WebCentric's billing calculations, call process, and premium features description. So it's going to take you, and that's what this caution is telling you here. All right, so that's how a user becomes billable. And so another point I'll make is that we bill each month based on high count of unique active seats. And so I get the question of if I delete users during the month, like let's say I'm going to do a demo domain for a user to demonstrate some services, and I delete those users after adding them. Yes, toward the end of the month, we do take into account any deleted users when we're calculating the high count of unique active seats. Okay, so you won't be charged for those deleted seats. So that's you'll want to pay attention to that. You'll have your SIP trunk calculations here, and again, it's per call path or what we refer to as a SIP trunk channel. And you'll notice something here. The SIP trunk pass or SIP trunk channels are added between bill cycles, are counted and billed in the next bill cycle. Okay, so we don't prorate. We do not prorate newly added or deleted SIP trunk pass. So, and that goes back to that statement about deleted seats. And it's the same for the seats here as well. We do not prorate the count. So, for example, right here, we do not prorate newly added or deleted seats during the bill cycle. So, if you're adding a customer, it's the 25th of the month or 26th of the month, we're not going to, let's say it's the 20th of the month, we're not going to prorate from the 20th to the end of that month any charge. We're just going to bill you the next month based on highest count of unique active seats. And that's the same for the SIP trunk paths or SIP trunk channels as well. Okay, so that's the WebCentric's billing calculation. This doc will give you some more information that will help you understand how we're billing you. We're going to bill you through the Bill Center, which I pointed out here. And so your monthly bill, you're going to see in here. You're going to receive it via email, and you'll make your payments. You'll see the payments you have made. You'll see the past bills that you have received in here. You'll want to notice this seat count widget. Again, that's going to calculate how many seats and all the features that you've added to your domains or your customers. So this will help. You'll be able to correlate, what we have here and then what we have on your bill on a monthly basis. Okay, so that is SkySwitch billing information and practices. If you have any questions, again, you can send an email to billcenter@skyswitch.com for any billing questions, but you can also just open a ticket as well. And of course, you can always ask a question at onboarding@skyswitch.com. Thank you for your time.